Hello, everybody.
Welcome. All right, we're going to launch straight in because we want to give you these juicy tools that you can take into your life immediately. And what we're focusing on today is the holiday season and how to indulge and enjoy with no guilt and all of that, all of that stuff that makes it not enjoyable, and still not end up with weight gain or feeling sick or feeling super run down at the end of it all because you've just, annihilated yourself.
Or find yourself in like a vicious cycle, just repeating these things that feel terrible and doing it over and over again. But first, introduce yourself. And this is the Power to Change Summit. This is our
part one.
Yes, this is our wellness summit, and we're focusing on the things that really give you power to change and make lasting change rather than just do it and then go back to your old self. With the New Year's and this Christmas time approaching, we get a lot of people that are...
Yeah, and so many people at this time of year just go, forget about it. I didn't hit my yearly goals. I gave up on that. I'm now this much, I've put on this much weight. I've done this. I'll just forget about it. I'll start again in January. We're saying don't do that. The illusion that you get a clean slate January 1st is an illusion. And wouldn't it be great to start January 1st already feeling fantastic, not starting from ground zero and scaling that mountain on that day, right? So that's what we're here for this 6-week period, to really help you navigate all of these things we deal with in this crazy, final weeks of the year.
That's right.
I am Kate Austin.
Yeah. Tell us what your gifts are.
I have my master's in neuro-linguistic programming, which I feel is just such a powerful, extraordinary tool on how to shift through paradigms and sabotages without pain, without dredging so much up. So it's a really beautiful, loving tool that I feel very grateful to have in my pocket. I'm also a trained Tony Robbins strategic intervention coach. So I'm really all about the mind and the power of the mind and how you can blast through anything with the belief structure that you can create. And everything that we create is belief. Even if we think it's the truth, it's just a belief.
That's right.
So to put people in environments where they can shift beliefs or train their brain to believe in something that's empowering, that's going to elevate them to the next level, is so exciting to me. And that's where I put a lot of my energy and focus in our team dynamic.
That's right. Well, what Kate does makes her really good at seeing people's sabotages and helping people identify these places where they have upper limits, where they blow their life, they blow things up. They get a certain amount of happiness or a certain amount of money, and they sabotage, or they lose or release a certain amount of weight, and then the holidays come and they just smash it back on. And we're in the business of raising the bar of how good people are willing to allow things. How good are you willing to have it? And Kate's training helps her really identify that. I have my functional nutrition degree, and I've sort of been obsessed with health and wellness my whole life. First of all, from a vanity standpoint, I used to take off my shirt.
We're truth seekers here. We would just say it like it is.
I know. I used to take off my shirt for volleyball and be like, "Look at my abs!" as we would take out of our warm up into our other.
He was on billboards for Tommy Hilfiger back in the day too. So
that's right.
There was all the abs on the billboards back then too.
Yeah. I ended up learning about fitness from a bodybuilding standpoint. I did men's health and men's fitness covers for years and years and years. And then my dad got sick about 10 years ago and passed from ALS, which is Lou Gehrig's, which is a neurodegenerative disease. And I became really interested in understanding why so many people are getting these crazy neurological disorders like Alzheimer's, dementia, ALS, and even type 3 diabetes.
He was fighting for his father's life.
I was, and it took us into the roads of heavy metals, and also looking at just how proper detoxing the body and detox pathways, and understanding how to get maximum nutrition into somebody whose neurological system is doing that. So that put me on a war path of really trying to have my life matter so other kids don't have to watch their parents go through what I did. And so many people are getting sick with dementia and with Alzheimer's and with even with ALS, with Lou Gehrig's disease. It's on the rise, and in younger and younger people.
Dementia, early onset dementia is insane. And no one's stopping and saying why.
Right.
Why is it now inevitable that someone you know or yourself is going to either get cancer, dementia, MS, Lyme, all of these things that were one in a few, and now it's, the statistics, one in three
now
in America will get cancer. 1 in 3.
Yeah, it should be 1 in 2 at some point. The direction it's heading.
Yeah,
and then, but people are just okay with it. They just accepted it.
And then nobody looks at it until it's on their doorstep. No one's like, oh, what do I need to do to navigate this so that isn't my story? And so that's what we do. We are, what is it? An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of
regret.
But prevention is far cheaper than trying to reverse a disease once it's fully blown in your body, and far scarier. It's so scary if someone gets one of those diagnoses that you're going to die. And so then people take drastic change, hopefully, and they can steer the ship, but there's a lot of fear and there's a lot of terror involved. And then if they come out the other side, they're constantly in fear it's going to come back. So we want to navigate that, because that isn't life. Being in a state of fear or waiting for something to come and get you, like the boogeyman, it's not life, and it doesn't have to be that way. So we are on a mission to really help people understand the power of their body. When you know and trust the power you have to heal, rather than the power that cancer will come and kill you or something will come and get you. We're all going to die. Yes. That's what's happening. But we can die, and age gloriously and have full faculty of our mind and body. Like, that is normal in plenty of places. Just watch the blue zones. You'll see that. It's, people living way over 100 and healthily. It's totally possible. It's just the way you live your life and the way you treat this extraordinary body. And so that's what we're passionate about, really sharing and helping people navigate through those things so you don't get those diagnoses, or if you have, you can reverse them and come back to total equilibrium in your body.
That's right.
And mind.
It's all connected, and bringing balance, allowing your body to heal, just sort of get out of the way. So, you have to have faith that your body knows how to heal more than, like Kate said, cancer can kill you. And I feel like if someone gives you a cancer diagnosis, we have so much faith that cancer will kill us, like way more than our body's ability. So,
and when you're in fear, then you're like, anything your doctor tells you, you'll just do, whether it's, it doesn't matter. You'll just do whatever because you're trying to live.
Questioning.
And sometimes you need to look from a 30,000 foot perspective at, hey, what are all, like, if I go down this path, what does that mean for me in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, during this time, all of that. But it's really hard to have that perspective when you're in fear. And so we want to help you navigate all of these things so you don't have to be in that position. And if you ever are in that position, you'll know to zoom out and be like, okay, let's look at this. And then now, from this perspective, what actions can I take that's going to give me the best preservation of life, the best quality of life? If you get to live, but you live a much reduced quality of life, is that the life you want to live? You want to be able to answer all these questions from that perspective and then go from that.
Yeah, so Kate and I have a company that Kate started 5 years ago, and she dragged me into it.
I did, kicking and screaming, and now he loves it.
And it's called the Freedom Alchemist because what an alchemist does is really take something of lesser value and turn it into greater value. So
like Jesus turned water into wine.
And you can alchemize your past into something powerful, or your story into something magnificent. So, and Kate and I have taken probably over 1,000 people through different programs that we have that help people really gain power and information and
Around
get their
their
feet
health.
on the ground around this conversation of well-being. And we wanted just to share a little bit around the holidays coming up and what it means when some people...
Well, we're in them. They're not coming up. We're in them.
We're
fair and square.
We're on first base. We're on Thanksgiving. I feel like... Yeah, Christmas is second base, New Year's is third base, and then the guilt and shame, everybody comes home to.
Yeah. And Thanksgiving just happened, so we thought this was relevant for right now. So we're going to keep you in the know of all the relevant things over this time period, because we know the holiday season is glorious and it can be very stressful, and stress is the number one cause of all disease. All stress is the cause of disease. Now, not everyone knows that. And there's 3 different types of stresses. One is environmental or chemical, so alcohol, food you eat, air you breathe, all of these types of things. And then there's our physical stresses. If we've had a car accident, if we've hurt ourselves in some way, a sporting injury from high school, those sorts of stresses. And then there's the emotional stresses, which ramp right up at the holiday season.
Yeah,
if you haven't had forgiveness with a family member, but you have to go and break bread with them. If you're lonely and you feel like nobody loves you over this period, all of these create emotional stress that elevates, and that's when so many people get sick over this period. So we're doing today about navigating these. Now, also, many people indulge, as you should. The holiday season is about connection and love and indulgence and fun, but then they feel shame and guilt around their indulgences, and then maybe increase that waist circumference much more than they want to or anticipate, right? So we want to help you navigate how to not blow out literally over this period and not get sick or run down or really exhausted. Okay, so some of you may not know that, and I love this fact, your body can only absorb a certain amount of fat per day. And so if you're eating, 1,000 to 3,000 calories above what you should be, then your body can only really truly absorb about half a pound of fat. Now, I know some people are like, well, hang on, I get on the scales the next day and I'm 6 pounds heavier than I was before Thanksgiving dinner or before this big thing. And the reason for that is, especially if you're eating sugars, carbohydrates like pies and all those sorts of things, your body will hang on to the sodium, and it basically, and your water weight will increase exponentially, right? So yes, you probably gained that half a pound of fat, but then you're also got all of that extra water weight happening and sodium that's building up. And
your the water retention and the weight of gravity, and you will just, there's no way for you to gain 5 pounds like overnight. That's just salt and sodium holding onto water. Do you want me to break down the science a little bit of how the body stores fat? This is for all you science folks out there.
It's good to know the science behind it. Like I geek out on this stuff. So, and if you're not a science geek, that's cool, but at least you'll know, and you'll know how to navigate not putting on a ton of weight by the end of this. Keep watching, because you'll have the tools on how to navigate this by the end of this webinar.
That's right. The point that we're trying to make here is you're going to have some power around the holidays. So many people dread the holidays are coming, and they're afraid they're just going to like nibble a couple things and then they end up just destroying it. We're going to give you a tool to sort of get to recruit your placebo effect and really have your body working for you during this time. So studies have looked at the effects of weeks and weeks of overfeeding. Massively overfeeding subjects 1,000 to 3,000 calories surplus on top of their baseline per day for up to 8 weeks, resulting in a gain of 1/3 to 1/2 pound of fat per day. Mm-hmm. But people say, I gained 6 pounds overnight. True, you might have added 6 pounds of gravitational pull, but only 1/2 pound of that might be actual fat mass. The remaining is just water weight. So when it comes to that additional weight on the scale, the increased carbohydrates, increased sodium, water storage will spike your weight by 5 or up to 10 pounds. That's why we don't even talk about the scale. We talk about inches and how your clothes are fitting.
Yeah.
So every gram of glycogen brings with it at least 3 to 4 grams of water. If you would theoretically store about 300 grams of carbs you eat a day, you'll gain an additional 900 to 1,200 grams of water. Sodium also pulls water into your cells, which is why eating large amounts of sodium can cause a lot of water retention. A single high sodium meal could...
And that's salt, by the way, guys.
A single high sodium meal could increase your whole body water stores enough to add several pounds to your body weight. This might increase your scale weight for several days before your body disposes of all the water and all of the salt. So the good news is this. Within a few days, a lot of this will be gone. Your kidneys and your urinary system will excrete most of this extra sodium, extra water. Your carbohydrate storage will gradually return to normal, and the food in your stomach will digest and be sent out as stool. But until this occurs, you may be fooled into thinking you've gained several pounds of fat if you just only go by the scale weight.
Now, we want to stop right there. So yes, if you do not continue what you did on that day, so let's say you have a huge meal, but then you have leftovers, and for the next 4 or 5 days you finish the pies, you finish all the food, you continuously eat all these things, then you're adding an extra half a pound of fat every day on top of all of that extra sodium and extra water. So you're compounding the problem. You know how people talk about compound interest? You put money in a thing and it should grow over time. That's what you're doing with your weight if you continue the next day. So the number one thing to know is, number one, if you're going to indulge with all the Christmas parties and all the things over the holiday season, go and do it and enjoy it. You know, don't eat something going, oh, I shouldn't be eating this. Oh, I shouldn't do this.
No one's looking when you have 2 of those.
Let me
lemon
shove this down.
I'm on a diet.
You know, all of this. Don't do that. If you're going to eat it and enjoy it. Now, I'm going to just put a little caveat. There's so many of those things at those parties that you just shouldn't be putting in your mouth. They're just like, they're not healthy. They're not great. They don't actually bring joy. So think about what you're putting in your mouth and really choose the choicest, yummiest, most extraordinary things. And if you bite down into something and it doesn't taste good, then you find a trash bin and put it out. Do not just eat it because it's in your hand. Okay, so we want to be mindful about what we're eating and choosing, you know, with reverence what we're putting into our body. So that's one side. But enjoy it. Don't regret it, beat yourself up, do any of that. Just enjoy it. The holidays is about connection and enjoyment and really like being in that moment of love and connection and good food, good wine, all the things, right? So enjoy it. The next day, go lean. Do not eat any sugar, do not eat any carbohydrates, like drink water like your life depends on it. Maybe even, you know, skip a morning meal so you're doing some fasting so your body has extra time to process that food and get it out before you're loading it with more food. So you want to give that spaciousness for your body. And I would do that, you know, for 3 days if you really blew it out and enjoyed that meal, because the pendulum's gone this way, right, into indulgence. It needs to come back this way before it finds equilibrium. You can't just go, oh, I'm just going to go back to eating how I normally would. No, you have to be really on top of exactly how you eat for the next 3 or 4 days. Now, you would have seen those people, those bodybuilders that they eat like so lean and then just protein and all this, and then they have a cheat day. You would have heard cheat days, right? And on that cheat day, they'll eat 3 pizzas and tubs of ice cream and like the most crappy, horrible stuff. And the reason they can get away with it is because your body can only absorb that half a pound of fat in one day. And because they eat lean for 6 days after that, it has zero impact, right? It's just their one day of blowing it out. So you too can adopt that, maybe not in quite such extremes, but if you blow it out, even if you have 3 Christmas parties in 1 week, then really figure out how to just go super lean in between them so that you're not just compounding that fat, because then the fat will go away and the sodium will go away. All of this will go away, and then you'll come back to your equilibrium. Now that is the number one key, the number one cheat on how to not blow everything out and end up sick, tired, and basically overweight by the end of the holiday season. So that's the number one thing we wanted to give you, a cheat sheet for life.
But let's talk about guilt and shame for a minute, because if you're going to beat yourself up for what you've done, for the food you've eaten, you will put your body into a type of stress, into fight or flight, and your body's going to produce cortisol, which will hold on to belly fat. And your body, your system doesn't know that when you're not being chased by a tiger. So you're attacking yourself in your thoughts, like, how can I do this? And like, some people are violent in their words towards themselves in their thoughts. And so guilt and shame are going to produce so much cortisol and actually have your body hold on to weight just to protect you from this threat. So by giving yourself some nurturing and some self-love and some self-care is a really powerful way to navigate some of this as well. And a lot of overeating is coming from often from a wound in our past.
Emotional connection.
An emotional not being, and if you're able to get to really nurture yourself and give yourself some care and some love, you might not even need as much food to nurture yourself with. And so one of the big pillars of our program is we deal with self-love and really training people on how to nurture themselves in a way so they don't need things like food,
quick fixes like food or TV or alcohol or smoking or
to feel okay or to feel balanced,
Xanax, like whatever, right? Like people, like we're a culture of quick fix rather than root cause. And if you could sum up what our program is about, is let's get to the root cause of every single issue, so it is no longer an issue. You no longer need medication for it. You no longer have to shove food down your throat in order to not feel the feelings. Like, we actually deal with the root cause of what's going on in your body on a full cellular structural level.
Right.
So nearly all eating, some people when they're really stressed they stop eating and they can't eat at all, and some people eat in order to feel better. So it's like you're swallowing your feelings so that you don't have to feel them. Same with blogging out in front of TV, so you don't have to feel. You're being programmed so that you no longer have to listen to your own program.
That's right.
But that's not necessarily what you want to do in your life. It doesn't bring you any joy in life. So
another really powerful thing you can do right after you eat that meal is go for a walk.
Yes.
And in our program,
this is our second huge hack.
In our program, I encourage all of our students and all the people that I work with. Walking is such a pillar, because not only does it lower your blood sugar, stops your body from storing fat, because especially right after, like if you have a dessert and you go for a walk, the difference literally is your blood sugar is going to go up, and stay there for hours.
5 hours.
But if you go for a walk, have a little sip.
It reduces to 2 hours.
Apple cider vinegar. Go for your walk, and it's about an hour and a half to 2 hours it starts to come down. And it's really a powerful hack for if you find yourself eating too much. Get outside, and then the fresh air, you'll instantly start feeling better. You'll feel confident. You will boost your metabolism, and you'll make better choices because you just feel more confident in yourself rather than blogging out watching TV.
It's also a beautiful thing to do as a family. If you're all like, whoa, we're all feeling like,
let's go for a walk.
Let's all go for a walk around the neighborhood.
Canada, when it was minus 40. And we put on our big snowsuits and we're like after our.
But it's and not only does it help your blood sugar levels, so you come out of the scary pre-diabetic zones and all of that sort of thing. Every 2,000 steps extra you do a day reduces your mortality rates by and if you get up to 7,500 steps per day, that's 50% reduction of mortality, things like cancer, like dementia, all of these, diabetes, all of these very scary things that everyone's getting.
Yeah.
You can literally obliterate by walking.
The science is it's over 40% reducing your chance of death just by walking over 8,000 steps every day.
I think it's even less than that. I've got
like 45% or something. I don't think it's quite 50, but it's a lot.
It's a lot.
You're reducing your chance of just dying by going for a walk for 8,000 plus steps a day.
And just the way our bodies.
Go walk.
And even if you can just do 5 minutes after every meal, hopefully you're only doing 3 meals a day or less, and you can just move your body right after, it's going to help everything on such a profound level. So walk. It's even better than all the cardio, all the things that people say. Walking is the key to longevity. So do as much as you can, walk as much as you can, first thing in the morning, after your dinner are the two most important, and wherever else you can in the day. So that's this number 2 hack on really navigating this holiday season with power and grace around it. Mm-hmm. So the next one is you want to focus on protein, fiber, and water. Now, proteins are your meats, high good quality meats, plus there's plenty of vegetables that have a lot of proteins too, but just to keep it simple, then there's fiber, which is your fruits and your vegetables. You want to up that a lot. Oh, woo! Clearly.
You do this, it's going down.
And then water. If you drink a ton of water before a big meal, you're not going to be as hungry. So you're not going to eat as much. Hare Hachibu, which is, you should talk about that. You know more about it than me. But
just leading to your 80% full. It's one of the tools that one of the blue zones in Okinawa, Japan, they have. One of their things is just they stop eating and leave about 20% room for digestion. But by focusing on protein, fiber, and water, you're reducing your carbohydrates, your sugars, and your processed foods. So it's basically a whole foods diet, and like eating nothing that's in a package, nothing on the counter. And that way of eating is going to make you feel so different. It'll actually make you think differently. These packaged foods will give you depressed thoughts. Will give you, it's true.
And addiction, like they're all made to be addictive. So you want more of it.
Yeah.
The more bread you eat, the more you want. The more sugar you eat, the more you want. It's, sugar is more addictive than cocaine. And it's in everything. So you have to be vigilant over this period to really keep your body humming in a powerful, beautiful way. And healthy feels, what is it? Hang on. What is that thing? There's nothing
that tastes better
nothing
than
that tastes better than what healthy feels. That's exactly it. Nothing tastes better
than what skinny feels. That's the original Kate Moss quote. I think Kate Moss said, "Nothing tastes as good as skinny feels." But we like to say nothing tastes as good as healthy feels.
Yeah.
Now, number 2, you can limit your sugars and your alcohol.
Number 4.
Number 4. We're already on number 4. Oh wait, we added our extras.
We moved it around a bit, but yeah, enjoy a glass of wine with a meal. Enjoy certain things.
If you're not sober.
You don't need 5 cups of eggnog. Like, you just don't. It's not necessary. You don't need all of that excess, because that really throws your body into having to process that. It'll want to do that and then store the foods, and then do the food after. So you really want to take a look at that. And sugars and alcohols, that's what's going to add extra load to your organs. And
it'll make your liver work extra hard. And some people can give them a fatty liver too.
Yeah.
Next one.
We're all done.
We're all done.
Yeah. Yeah, so we've done so what the 4 are.
We don't want to talk about intermittent fasting.
No, that's just the pendulum swing of
eating less.
If you eat less, after you really blow it out for at least a few days before coming back to what you would normally, like your normal diet. We want to really restrict. Just make sure you're only having whole foods, no sugars, no carbs, nothing. And I know everyone, when they're hungover, all you want to do is eat some toast. Worst thing you can do. Don't do that to yourself. Go straight to protein. Drink a ton of water. Maybe even skip that morning meal so your body has more time to
take some celery juice.
Celery juice is great. So the four things is, make sure, limit that food intake and all of those nasty things so your pendulum swing can go this way before you come to an equilibrium of back to your normal eating after you've had a big blowout. Enjoy while you're having the blowout. No guilt, no shame, just full, I am gonna enjoy this and really enjoy it. I think when we're just blowing it out, we're just blah, 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 just eat all the things. Even if it doesn't taste good or feel good, you just start going on a toxic cycle with eating and with, I'm already put on a bunch of pounds, I'll just deal with it in January. Don't do that to yourself. It's such a bigger mountain to climb. So don't go there. We want to make, yes, January there is an international agreement that's the day that the slate gets cleaned and you get to start afresh. But the reason everyone falls after 3 days is because they've done this to themselves prior. We're getting you into the process of being mindful about your health and your wellness and feeling extraordinary for January 1st, not starting then. Okay? Yeah. So no guilt, no shame, enjoy fully, be choosy and have the choiciest things and enjoy them fully. Don't just shovel nastiness into your mouth. Walking as soon as after you eat as many, 3 meals a day, then try and walk after every single one, but primarily the first thing as you do in the morning. It's going to help with your sleep because the serotonin, all that's a whole nother topic that you can riff on forever, but it's extraordinary. And after your evening meal, 2 major things to walk, building up to 7,500 steps a day will just reduce your mortality rate 45-50%. So really, you want keto longevity, do that. Community is one thing we haven't spoken about, but that is such a key to longevity, and we'll get into that into one of our other seminars.
So if you find yourself this Christmas pushing yourself over the edge, your mindset about guilt and shame is such a really powerful place to start. You can do all these little things, but if you're still beating yourself up, this all has to work together. And in our program, what Kate and I do is we take people through a year-long journey of identity. And a lot of these strategies that we share with people is helping them to recreate who they really are. And so many people are stuck in the past and some moment in the past, and they will live that out their entire lives. And we're really passionate about interrupting that story, that lie that you've been telling yourself about who you are from your past, and letting you create a new identity, having you create something that really actually works for you and that a life that you really want. And we're so passionate about this journey and watching our people really fly. And we want to tell them about it.
Yeah, well, so we've teamed up with the #1 functional medicine medical team in America right now, and they do a full 108 biomarker blood panel so that we have data from where you begin, and that happens twice, once at the beginning and once further along on the journey. So you can actually see the data of where you begin, and once you're on all these protocols, where you end up, which is really exciting. It also includes your biological age. So that's something we can reverse age. Biologically, we might be a certain age, but for example, we're both around 15 years younger in our biological age than we are in our actual age, based on how our body's functioning, things like that. So we can actually continue to reverse age, gain more energy. You know, we keep thinking once we age, oh, that's our lot in life. Oh, it's aging. Oh, here, I'm just losing my functions and everything hurts. And no, it doesn't have to be that way. And you can reverse all of that. You just need to be in the right environment to create that, which is based on your bio-individual needs. And this year-long program is around your bio-individual needs, what your body needs. You know, some keto diet might work great for Barbara, doesn't do anything for Diane. Why? Because it's not her bio-individual needs that are being addressed.
Yeah.
So we look at the whole bio-individual needs based on your blood work. We take you through the key pillars of health, and then the year you can do the program in a much shorter time. You get 2 major detoxes. So we strip everything out and rebuild, flood your body with nutrients and these big guided detoxes as well. And then you get health products sent to your home. Everything's to your home, so it's like done from the comfort of your own home. You don't have to fly anywhere or go anywhere. It's all there. And you could probably do the program within 6 months, but we do the year because sometimes we have to reverse 20, 30, 40, 50 years of habits or a mental game that someone told you as a child that is a belief structure. So when we have to shift a belief and we have to shift habits that are ingrained, it can take some time to really, have those building blocks happen. And so by the end of the year, health and your blueprint for health will just be second nature. It won't be like, oh, I have to be good. I have to think about that. It'll just be what you do. You won't reach for the donut anymore because, the donut doesn't make you feel good. It doesn't matter what emotional connection you might have had to donuts when you were a child. It will no longer be a grip on you.
Yeah, take it or leave it.
Yeah, you'll be like,
And then we also provide weekly strategy coaching, which is with Kate and myself. And there's coaching every week to help people can bring what they're working on. We do a guided meditation, and the program is really dynamic. And it's sort of gamified. Once you complete something, you get to level up as you continue to move through it. And like if you're just catching this now, Kate has her master's in NLP, and I'm a functional nutrition coach. And
the medical side is we have the #1 functional medicine team in America that help us with that part of it. We're not doctors, but we have doctors in our team so that you are getting the best information for your body.
I played a doctor on TV.
You sure did. A really great one. So, could do brain surgery back in the time when they just really weren't around.
That's right. I did one of the first brain surgeries. So if you would like to, we want to send you a link to you now. Whether you're watching this later, there'll be a link right down below that you can click. And there's 3 adventures you can take on this landing page that you go to and just you'll learn a little bit more about what we stand for and who we are. But we are passionate about helping people really live a life that they really love. And it's a year of prevention to gain 10 to 20 years of health span.
Quality life, health rather than just 10 to 20 years of extra life. This is a defining point. That you can age and have health span.
Yeah, not just sitting on the machine somewhere. We want you to be playing with your great-grandkids and being able to bend over and actually take them on trips.
Sit on the floor, roll around, all of those things without being like, trying to get up, It's totally possible, and no matter where you are, you can get to that point. You just have to be in the right environment, which is why it's a year-long program, so that you can create that environment over that year.
Yes. So thank you for being with us. We're going to wrap this up. And if you, there's a link down below for you watching this later. And if you're...
And just with that, you get 3, based on... There's 3 factors that we find a lot of people are dealing with. And that's either weight gain. So if that's something that you're struggling with, there's a journey that you click on. You get a free gift around that. Aging. If that's an issue and like wanting to know more about longevity, then you can click on that and you can it'll give you a free gift around that. Or relationships. If, you know, your relationship to yourself is terrible, you're really mean to yourself, or your relationship to others is not where you really want it to be, then you can click on that and there's a journey there. So there's 3 gifts that you get with that. And if you're intrigued to join us and be, you know, have full accountability, have partners that help you with the power to change exponentially, where you will become unrecognizable to yourself in 1 year in the most profound, powerful way, where all your friends like, I'll have what she's having or he's having, like, what's going on? Like, how did you get here? Then you can, there'll be a link there that you can book in and have a call with us to see if this is the right thing for you.
Yeah, there'll be an opportunity there that you can hop on the call, and we'll just see what your dream, what you want to create, and see if we can help you get there.
Yeah.
So this is part 1 of a part
1.
6 summit, The Power to Change. And, you know, so many people make a change and then they fall back, and then they make a change and they fall back. And what is it that makes a change and have you actually last? This time I'll keep it off. Like, what actually allows you to transform your life, you know, just because you said so, and keep going in that direction, and not always have to backslide into the guilt and the shame, just that toxic cycle. And one of the things we really train our people is to have when you do something that's bad for you, but it feels good, you're in a toxic cycle.
Like smoking.
Smoking
is a really good example of that.
Yeah, or even watching TV for hours and hours on end. It kind of feels good, but you know it's bad for you. What we're in the business of is having people have a empowering cycle where what feels good to them, what is good to them, actually, what's good for you actually feels good. So going for a run feels good to you. Getting outside feels good to you. Eating great, whole, delicious, yummy foods actually feels good to you. So it's nice to me.
Let's have life feel good, because it can
feel good.
Woo, and enjoy. One extra thing is, we are not a weight loss program, but the major thing that happens to everyone is everyone releases a lot of weight, and that is not because
our biggest is 120
pounds,
and
like
she's
several
over 80.
Several people have lost over 120 pounds, and 90 and 80 and 60 is really normal. And it's not because we're telling you how to exercise or how to eat. Obviously, we talk about food, and we enjoy, like, food should be enjoyed, and there's a way to enjoy it and not, you know, put on a ton of weight. And so, the number one thing is people strip a lot of weight off their body, and it's because we're getting to the root causes of issues, not because we're like massively calorie restricting or something like that, what most weight loss places do, which is why people backslide, because it's not sustainable for life. We want sustainability for life, to be to be enjoyed, and just love the good stuff, love things that are good for you, being empowering cycles instead of toxic cycles. That's what we care about. So if that sounds fun or interesting to you, get curious, like, get a free gift, check us out, and we would love to meet you at some point.
All right. Thanks for being with us.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, expect miracles.
Ooh.
Expect miracles.
Expect them.
Okay, bye.